for the crucial activities in our business, you got to do them in order to train your people, because there's no one else going to train your people besides yourself. So if you don't know how to really do that, then yeah, my 2 cents is you got to get in the weeds and get the experience and then train on what you've learned, basically. So.
All right, welcome everybody to the DealMachine Thought Leader Spotlight Series. I'm here in person with Alec Hawthorne in Austin, Texas. He's done 12 deals since April this year. And when we spoke 2 weeks ago, he had 3 pending that all closed. And he's done over $160,000 in profits since April, plus those 3 deals. So I don't know what those deals are yet. We're going to find out. Yep. They've been doing an average of 3 deals per month. And the first deal you did was actually a while ago in 2019. You got that deal driving for dollars. You and I actually met in 2020, and we did a video about it.
I think it was 2019, actually. It was before we got that deal that we met. It was.
Oh, okay.
It was, yeah. I don't remember. I think it was November of 2019 was that event.
Gotcha. So Vegas. It was good luck for you.
Yeah.
And and you were part of another team back then, and now you're wholesaling in Austin and San Antonio with your own team of 5, which I enjoyed meeting in the conference room.
Yep. And
you guys are crushing it.
Getting there. Yeah. We're definitely getting that traction and momentum in the business, but yeah, let's dive in.
Let's dive in. The first question that I had though is, why did you go out on your own? Because you were with another team. Why'd you go out with your own? And now you've got your own team of 5.
Well, first off, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And to answer the question, why did I branch off from the team I was with, was mainly a number of things, I guess, but mainly it was just I'm very entrepreneurial at heart. I'm not a very good employee, to be honest. I've had a lot of other kind of random jobs before I found real estate and wholesale in particular, but so that was one main thing was I don't want to control someone else's business. And for me, it was a stepping stone. So I love the team I was with, and they were great. We did a lot of business, and I learned a lot. And that was, I guess, if I could recommend anything, would be someone starting out would be to join a team, because that was – probably I wouldn't have got the same experiences and knowledge if I would have been doing it on my own. I think it's like a fast track to one, you don't have any risk per se. You don't, so you're basically, you don't have any risk. You don't really have to worry about marketing costs and things like that. You just are operating, doing the business. And if you truly enjoy the business, it doesn't really matter if you're giving up a big chunk of the deal or what you're making. That was my mindset, was as long as I'm doing this versus working a random job or just to get by at that time. I think that's one reason why I would highly recommend joining a team.
Got it. So you took a team and you learned a ton there.
Yeah.
And you didn't have as much upside maybe, or you didn't have as much freedom and control as you'd like, but that was a great stepping stone for you. And because you're entrepreneurial, you just wanted to go out on your own.
100%.
So that leads me to my next question. Now that you've got your own team, are you nervous about any of the people that you've hired doing the same and end up going out on their own?
I'm not necessarily nervous, but I want to breed that kind of culture to where, if that's a thought in their mind, I want to support it, but we really want to create a culture that's not replicatable, to where they can go out on their own, but they won't have the same environment and loving people around them and support, I guess, and opportunity for growth. But we do want to support them. So, I mean, if that's someone's goal, then we want to support it. But yeah, I don't know. It is a huge I want to say risk, but it's like, it's just a different kind of starting from the ground, from zero, and then building it up. For someone that has not done it in their lifetime, then it's very hard to do. And I think attributing to me being on a team where we basically did that and helped them grow, and it was kind of a shortcut for me to sort of do a similar thing, but in our own way, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And that's really great. Somebody once told me, well, what if I invest in my team with training and I spend a lot of money training them and then they leave? But the question that really stuck with me was, well, what if you don't? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have a team that's not, that doesn't know how to do their job very 100%. Well. So I like that you've kind of adopted that mindset of, that could happen, but you're more focused on giving them opportunities, helping them grow.
Yeah. One thing that has been one of my core personal values in this industry and business is like, I want to help kind of, quote, the little guy, like grow and become someone that we can build a relationship with and do deals with. So if they want to do it on their own, it's not that we're not going to do business. And that's the same thing with the team I was on. We still have done deals since I left. So it's not that we're not doing deals any longer, or they think the mindset's like if they branch off, then we won't have them per se. But it's like we're still working together, just in a different light, basically. So it's all mindset, and people have a scarcity mindset inherently. So, yeah, that's my take on it, I guess.
Yep, I totally get that. So let me ask you this. As somebody who's been wholesaling since 2019, and you now have a team, some of which you've partnered with, some of which you've hired, how do you know when you're ready to hire?
I think whenever you are doing tasks that I guess whenever you have to like kind of turn down certain things, or you have too much on your plate, and also to this business model, hiring, at least our business model it's commission based. So our main hires are acquisition and dispositions. So those are inherently just sales and commission based positions and roles. So it's a fairly easy thing to do, besides finding the right people to do it, I guess. And I mean, we're still in that growth process. It's only been a month or two since we've hired, so I'm not like by any means the most experienced in that sense, but definitely going through it and I'm learning myself. So at least that's my perspective on when to hire, is when you just have too much on your plate, kind of those more or less repetitive tasks that are very crucial to the business, but need where your focus needs to be kind of on bigger and better things, in a sense, I guess.
Absolutely.
To move the needle.
So you, in other words, have had to do a few deals first.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't be great to have, try to hire somebody before you've done a few deals.
No. Yeah, you gotta, at least in my experience, doing the tasks you're hiring for is pretty crucial, unless it's like, certain things. There's odd cases, I guess, that's not the case, but for the most part, for the crucial activities in our business, you got to do them in order to train your people, because there's no one else going to train your people besides yourself. So if you don't know how to really do that, then my 2 cents is you got to get in the weeds and get the experience and then train on what you've learned, basically. So, yeah.
So you've got a couple people that you've hired and you've been able to train on what you've learned, but you've also partnered with 2 people. Your business, you've partnered, right? You have an LLC and the 3 of you are partners in that LLC.
Yeah.
how did you decide who those people were going to be?
I mean, that's a great question. I think off the bat, it was just people that you have a really great, like culture fit with. You vibe very well together in a work environment and in a personal environment, because it's more like a marriage than anything else. So I think we partnered up a lot on individual deals before, quote, tying the knot. And that was a good way to test the waters. Like, we did that for probably close to somewhere around, 3 to 6 months. We partnered on deals and did a handful of them. And it just seemed like a very good chemistry off the bat, both business and personal life. So it's people we want to be around, of course, and people that have great long-term visions, as well as the day-to-day tasks and things like that. And it just made sense, I guess. You kind of feel it in your gut, I think. Like, if something feels off, you don't want to partner with that person for your business. Mm-hmm. But if it feels good, y'all are doing well, and like the machine is pumping, and I think we were just had a little huddle this morning about this, but at the end of the day, we do this because we want to do it, not because we have to do it. Mm-hmm. So if I guess it's kind of hard to put into words, but we want to be doing this because we enjoy it. We do this because we enjoy it. So why do it with people you don't want to be around and don't have great energy with? So
right. So you've got to have some history and some knowledge of the person.
Yeah.
You actually did a test run for 4 to 6 months where you were partnering on deals, but didn't form an LLC, right?
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. Didn't form anything.
And then you both are really passionate about the business.
Right.
You probably have similar styles. I'm guessing, one thing you said before we hopped on the podcast was you don't like to pressure and really hard sell somebody. So I'm guessing your partners are the same way, where you take a more relaxed approach.
For the most part, but we definitely have to have those yin and yang type, mindset. And it's good to have opposing views on things. If everyone sees things one way, it's just a little bit. You gotta look at it from different perspectives, and also having that kind of integrator, visionary role. Crucial.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
I was wondering if that's going to come up.
Yeah. So
have you guys figured that out? Are you visionary? Is somebody else integrator?
We haven't sat down and really took the tests or anything on that. But I have read Rocket Fuel, I think is what the book is. And I think I'm a good mixture, but I think I'm more integrator than I am visionary. Mm-hmm. As far as systems go, and data and operations and things like that. And then I would say the partners are definitely a little more visionary than they are integrator.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense, or it's a good mix and match.
For those of you that don't know where that comes from, it's from a book called Traction.
Traction, yeah, that's right. Or Rocket Fuel. There was 2 of them.
Rocket Fuel is part of the Traction library as well.
That's right.
You might have also heard EOS, which is Entrepreneurial Operating System. So all of these books kind of include and are part of this library, and they talk about visionary versus integrator. Mm. And I think that that's awesome. You guys have kind of found out that you're more of the integrator, but maybe there's a time where you guys will want to take a test. Is there a test? I didn't even know that.
I think there is, yeah.
Well, let's switch gears to the market shift. We're in the middle of 2021, heading towards the end of the year, and the market's changed a little bit. Probably since April, the interest rates, from April throughout the summer have gone up. There seems to be a gap between what investors think that properties are worth versus what sellers think properties are worth.
Absolutely.
Some buyers stopped buying and other buyers are still buying. How have you guys handled some of those shifts?
I mean, so I think we might get into a little bit our business model, but we mainly get deals from other agents. Mm-hmm. So I think agents are the first to feel the shift. They feel houses sitting on market longer. They feel there's not as many buyers putting in offers, and that trickles down to their clients and sellers. So I think we are in a position where it's a little more, the landing is a little softer, I guess, versus if you're going direct to seller and then having to explain those things to a seller, because I'm sure, like you said, in their mind, it's still freaking, 2020, the market's so hot, my house is $1 million, like, but I think agents portray that, they soften the blow a little bit, so that helps us out, but as far as, it's just harder to sell our deals than it is to find them.
Okay. Really interesting. You're able to find some great deals, but you're having a little bit more trouble selling them. That was my next question, was what was your greatest challenge? So let's talk about, why do you think you're so good at finding the deals? Because that's something people struggle with right now.
Yeah.
But you guys are really good. Why do you think you're so good at finding the deals?
I think kind of boils back down to that previous question of like, this is a relationship business. So, coming into the conversation with agents of, we're looking to build relationships. And also too, there's a note I have down to focus on what you can control. So, I mean, we can't control that market or people's reactions to certain maybe offers or what have you. But, I mean, I think building solid relationships with our business model is crucial to finding those opportunities. So it's kind of hard to touch on, like, if you are direct to seller or, maybe working with other wholesalers or what have you. But, I guess, I don't know.
So your primary acquisitions is through relationships with agents.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of those relationships and you get referrals from the same agents over and over again.
Yeah.
And so that's continued to be true. Where do the agents get these deals from? Are they, because they're, always looking for listings, right?
Right.
Are they finding listings that just aren't appropriate to list, or how are they finding those?
Exactly. I mean, that's one thing we approach agents with, is we're looking for those properties that are not fit for the market just yet. They're maybe original condition, deferred maintenance, like all different types of we mainly harp on condition, but that trickles into motivation, because that if a seller's selling in a as-is condition, there's got to be some underlying motivation on why they're doing so. So we, going into those conversations with agents, that's what we out of the gate kind of say is that's what we're looking for. So then in turn, just like it is with sellers, it's a numbers game. You'd have to talk to so many agents to find those opportunities, but you do find, you build a relationship with those agents, and then you're able to do, many deals with them, because that's what they're in the business for, is to do this business, versus sellers. They own a property. They'll if you do a deal with a seller, that's typically the only one you'll do with them. You never hear from them again. It's very transactional. Besides your buyers, it's not. But it's, it makes sense to, and it's a lot cheaper than doing direct to seller. You don't have to sift through a bunch of data and list pulling and hair pulling. You're pulling your hair out, prospecting for them. So, ultimately it boils down to just building relationships with agents and just doing lots of deals with them. So
love it. And what are you doing to solve your greatest challenge, which is on the disposition side?
It's mainly also flows into having those relationships with other wholesalers to see if you can, if they can sell it to their buyers.
So,
and then,
if you have a deal that you don't know what to do with,
right,
you're effectively finding a big wholesaler in your market and contacting them.
Yep.
And then they can help sell it.
Yeah.
Which is great advice.
Yep, that's huge. And then you build great relationships. I feel like a broken record saying that, but having those is crucial to longevity because same thing with sellers is you at some point have to keep prospecting for buyers. So if you can sort of like agents where they go out, find sellers, other wholesalers go out, find buyers. So you're essentially just kind of connecting the two. But it is great to also have your own buyers and relationships with those buyers. So, I mean, that's huge. Just straight up getting on the phone and talking to other investors. And also too, a lot of the time buyers they're your friends. Like they're people we follow on social media, on Instagram. Like we hit each other up, go grab dinner, like grab lunch. So,
so talking with other businesses that have maybe figured out part of the disposition side.
Right.
That's one way that you're helping to figure out some of the issues you're encountering in your own business.
And I think your market has a lot to do with that, which specific like city you're in has a different demographic for the actual who's buying in the areas, and like I think that has a big thing to do with the disposition side. So
I got another question for you. So you guys also use DealMachine.
Yes.
You started out driving for dollars, and then you've added some other marketing ways to acquire deals, which is very smart, and a lot of people do that. But you still what do you use DealMachine for these days?
So we don't. So for the acquisition side, we mainly deal with agents, but that goes into our disposition strategy. Is if we are driving around, because we'll drive out to properties every now and again to look at them. So while we're in the neighborhood, we'll see if there's anyone doing projects, doing fix and flips, and whip out DealMachine, see if there's if it's like owned by an entity. Sometimes it may be individual owned, but if a house looks like it's getting renovated, doesn't hurt to reach out and ask, see if they're fixing it up to resell, if they want to buy more in the neighborhood. Say, I've got a lead right there around the corner. So we use it to drive for buyers essentially versus drive for sellers. So it's a little different of an approach, but there's different, like you can pull like lists and things for buyers too, but the most accurate data is things that's going on right now, like in the neighborhoods. So if you can go out in the streets, drive around, maybe there's no one home, like, or no one working on it at that moment, so you can't like stop and get out and talk to someone, but you can tag it and screenshot it, see who's on the LLC, reach out to them, search them on Facebook or whatever, and find their number and call them and just see if they want to buy more. So that's what we're using DealMachine for.
Got it.
Buyers.
Love that you're finding buyers through DealMachine.
Yeah.
So let's finish out with the final question of what is your team's vision? Where do you guys want to go?
So we definitely want to become more of a disposition stop for other wholesalers and agents too, because having that, our roots in the market so deep where agents can bring us properties where they know they'll get it sold. Other wholesalers can do the same. And all boils down to having those relationship with buyers. So we're still getting that momentum on that side. That's like we said, that's our biggest struggle, but it's still early on. It's not even been a year since we've been in business at this point. So we just want to be kind of a go-to disposition house. And also we are looking to buy as well and build portfolios and fix and flips up and all types of stuff. So that's kind of the long-term vision is kind of be a go-to resource in our market. In the state of Texas, we want to kind of branch off into all the major metros, even little pockets in rural areas because there's so many. I've had a lot of people, some other, so we're in other mentorships and things like that. There's people in there that'll reach out like, hey, do you have any connections in so-and-so town? And it's like, there's just not a lot of action going on in those areas, but we want to get to a place where we can confidently say like, yes, let's work it.
Yeah.
We've got resources in all kind of corners of Texas, basically. So that's kind of our long-term vision is be a go-to disposition company for Texas and eventually branch out. But we want to be kind of more niche and specialize in Texas. It's where I grew up. It's where I know. So that's, yeah. And I don't want to speak for my partners, but yeah, eventually other markets as well is kind of, but yeah, we want to have a long-term vision and build a brand too is what we're kind of getting the ball rolling there on. So, but yeah.
I love it. So you guys want to be experts in not only Austin and San Antonio, but all of Texas.
Right.
And you not only want to be good at finding the deals, but others will find deals and come to you so that you guys can get those deals sold. So everyone, we are looking at Alec. He's going to be the expert in Texas here. He's already the expert in Austin and San Antonio, but Texas is a big place, so lots of room for growth for sure. Thanks so much. Huge. Before we sign off today, do you have like a final parting tip that you'd give advice to somebody who's listening to this?
I mean, number one is just stay consistent, stay with it. I've seen a lot of, unfortunately, seen a lot of people kind of come and go in the business.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I could say is just stay with it. It's not something that happens overnight, but it's something that can happen overnight as far as getting that one deal or lead. So, like I mentioned like earlier on, it's kind of an inherent like human instinct to feel a sense of like scarcity if there's a lack of something. So if you could feel that scarcity right now and I could make a phone call right in the next 5 minutes and get a lead or a deal, and then like in an hour I could have an opportunity to make, X amount of dollars or whatever. So it's just a mindset shift, and it's tough to do when you're in that position, but because I've been there. But if there's anything I could say is just stay with it. Kind of don't, as cliche as this all sounds, don't lose hope. And it's an easy business, but we complicate it very easy. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yep. That resonates with me too, right? The only thing that matters is, finding distressed properties and talking with the sellers.
Right.
And it doesn't matter about all the fancy filters or all the postcard designs or any of that stuff. And just don't get hung up on little details.
100%.
And know that it 100% for sure will work.
Right.
If you work the right things.
Exactly.
Love it.
So
I think that's great advice. And that's what I would say too.
Yeah. So.
All right, Alec. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to check in for a third time and see your expertise and your footprint in Texas grow.
Let's do it.
All right.
Excited.
See you next time.
Let's go.